Hey guys, how's it going? I just figured I would share a little story for y'all about these two bikes right here. A lot of people will know this bike. This is my Honda Grom. It's a 2022 that I did Rocky Mountain Race Week on twice, and I've also raced at the circuit Dragon Drive on it, and I've done King of the Open Road as well. It has had a few mods over the years, like right now. It has little Brembo brake caliper on there. It's a P32 from like the back of the Ducati. It has a set of eBay special handlebars that have faded a bit. They were black at one point. It's got a quick throttle on it, which is actually just a Gixxer 600 throttle tube, and then the matching grip on that side to go with it. And of course, got to have the horn. And then over here on the back, nothing really crazy back here. Still completely stock exhaust. The engine as well down here is 100% stock. Haven't done any modifications to it. The airbox is the same way. In the past, at one point, I had a TSC airbox lid on it. That was a little bit louder, but it kind of droned on the highway and got really annoying when you'd have to listen to it for 6 or 7 hours at a time, so I got rid of it. And then back here, I have a set of Sato rear sets on it. They're nothing too crazy. That meant I had to get rid of the passenger pegs. And then on the other side, the only oddball thing about the bike is right here on this side with the rear sets. It meant that they're GP shifted, which essentially means that most bikes you go down to first, then up through every other gear. So up to second, third, fourth, and fifth on this bike. Well, on this bike, it's backwards. You go up to first from neutral, if you can get it to go into neutral, and then you go down to second, third, and fourth, and fifth, and then you come back up the other way. Not too hard to keep track of, though, because the nice thing about these Groms is they have a gear indicator on the dash. The only other real mod I've done to it that's not really a mod is on Race Week 1.0 the first year. The first 1,000 miles I had the bike, I basically killed the entire chain. It was stretched out as far as it would go. And I put a 428 chain on this. It's an O-ring chain, which essentially means that it holds some lubrication in the chain, so it didn't stretch out so bad. And then now, I'll turn it on here real quick. It has got an anti-gravity battery in it, which is pretty nice actually. But it's got about 5,200 miles on it now. I don't ride it near as much as I should because, well, in my garage I have two Groms right here. I've got my Honda Navi that I don't ride at all, basically. It's got 750 miles on it. And then I've got my Hayabusa that I did the circuit and Race Week 2.0 on last year. I put about 5,200 miles on it last year riding to events. But that's why the Grom doesn't get ridden very much. It's a lot of fun though. It does have different forks on it. They should be the silver forks, which are actually on this Grom right here. They're really soft springs, and I was bottoming out the suspension everywhere, so I put a set of stiffer springs in this set of forks and put them on the bike. And then this Grom right here has a whole other story to it. So I bought this. This is the first Grom I bought about 8 years ago now, I think, 7 or 8 years ago. And it had the gold forks belong to this bike, but they're now on the other one. So this one has a set of stock forks on it that are really soft and obnoxious. And then it's a little rough. It was used as a pit bike. And it has a 12-inch stretch on it right now that I'm probably going to take off because I just don't like it. This thing is a monster at around town speeds because it's got a little bit more power. But instead of the stock 125 motor, this thing's got a CBR 250 motor in it that instead of about 8 horse puts out somewhere between 20 and 25. I don't know exact numbers on it, but it makes it a little spicy. And it basically, all you have to do is, this one's had the frame modified in here. That's what all the blue paint is, to hide all my booger welds. But you basically just get a bracket here that lines up everything. You can actually get away with it, and it does not run well on the stock CBR 250 harness, computer, and everything. And I originally had a adapter harness made that would fit the stock dash on, but I like the CBR dash better. It's got the full tack and everything that's easier to see. But from Wicked Grom, you can get all the parts you need to swap this over. Like, it has a CBR 250, the radiator and everything on it. You kind of gotta do an amalgamation of parts for the chain and sprocket, because you gotta get the CBR 250 428 sprocket and then Grom for the rear, and you've got to play with the gearing a little bit. You can run the beefier 530 chain, but it's just more weight and noise. But you run it at about 15 to 30, 16 to 32 type gearing. But it ain't too bad. This one is really loud and obnoxious because it just has my welded up Sidewinder exhaust here. And it's pretty loud, but it's a lot of fun. It'll do some big smoky burnouts and everything. I did a really big trailer burnout this summer at Race Week. My nephew was with me, so this was on the trailer for my pit bike, and it was a lot of fun. I think, though, it needs a few things this year if I'm going to bring it out to an event. Like, it needs a better set of rear sets. I really need to get a set of rear sets for it. I need to fix my boogered up frame to make the motor run a little bit happier. And then it definitely needs a suspension upgrade as well. Actually, on the 125 Grom, because I'm going to zigzag back and forth, if you look, there's a little bit of oil here. The other side, you can tell a little better. That fork is puking oil. I actually have another set of Grom forks in the corner, and I also have another right side port leg, I think. So between all of that, I've got enough parts to make a couple sets of really good forks for it. This one just has a cheapy eBay 3-bar headlight on the front. The ignition switch is in a weird spot because that's where I could fit it with bars really well. Actually does okay. I need to just put a kill switch and a start button in it. The heated grips that are on it are because they're grips I had on these bars at the time. But it'll kick on, be happy. It's just got a cheapy eBay lithium battery in it. The problem with it is really its gas tank size, because the newer Groms like this one have it's like a 1.9 gallon tank. These older ones are like 1.2 gallon tank, which on a 125 motor, that gets 90, 95 miles the gallon when you're running it wide open throttle the entire time. But this 250 motor, when you're babying it, gets maybe 45 miles the gallon, so you don't have a ton of fuel range. It's a lot of fun, especially stock, because this thing is a wheelie monster even when you're not trying it power wheelies really well. But makes life an adventure. But there's a long story to why both these Groms are here, and I'll probably tell it in another video. The same thing like the Navi, the Busa, and of course, last but not least in here, and I'll close this, is my mini bike that I'm actually working on making a couple parts for. That's going to get taken up to my brother's house because, well, I got a few nephews that really like riding it. That big looking motor in there is a little 79cc Predator motor. This thing's fast enough that I wanted to slow it down, so I've turned the governor way down. When I can say that I've driven a stock Grom and hit 80 mile an hour, but this thing scares me at like 25, that's probably probably a little crazy of a bike, but it's also a lot of fun. But anywho, I'll probably go through here and tell some stories about some of the bikes, but I figured I would just share some little stories here about this. Thanks.